Alright, this is my 2022 Tahoe. I'm going to be converting this piece to the 2025. I've also got the tail lights. I'm going to upgrade to the 2025, and this is a video on how to do that. I will list all the parts that I used for it. I got it from gmpartsdirect.com with the prices and everything you're going to need to successfully convert this piece over. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is remove this inside panel here, which I've already done. There's just going to be a screw underneath that one cover here. There is your button that you're going to pull off right there. And you're going to want to use these tools here from AutoZone that I got. These help. Okay, this is what the back's going to look like. Now, this is very thin plastic. I did accidentally break this. But these tabs, you're going to need that little pry tool and pop them all off. And this little tool is good to get in there. It's going to be a little hard to do. Next thing you want to remove is this side plastic here. What I find is if you get a light and kind of pull it down a little, shine a light behind there and it'll expose where you need to put your tool. So you can pop these off right here. So shine the light behind there, and then you'll be able to see where each little clip is. Once you pop that off, it's going to expose. I already took some off. These 3 screws here, that's going to be a 7/16 or a 5/16 right there. Okay, once you got, each side has 3, then there's going to be 8 of these in here. 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. So yeah, 6. So that's 10 actually. So you're gonna remove those. Okay, then there's gonna be clips. Once you get those off, there's clips that are in here. I already took this off, but you're gonna wanna use these holes here to take a flathead screwdriver into these holes. Now the clip's missing here because I've already taken this off. That's right where a clip would be. To push those tabs in, you're gonna wanna have some, once that's off, have some pressure in here by like sliding something like this in there to put pressure up on the tabs. So as you push in the tab, you'll pop it. These holes right here get you access. It's going to be kind of tricky, but you'll have to look in here to get these tabs off. See, there's one way back there. That little hole, the tab's missing because I already took it off, but you're gonna want to take your screwdriver and pop these tabs. Use these holes to get into there. Then you're gonna want to disconnect the camera and the light, and you're gonna pop this out once you get it out, because you're going to need a new harness. Now you want to save these little nuts on here. Alright, so that's all. I got the clips popped. I've got all the screws taken out. Now one thing you want to do, I should have said this in the beginning, is make sure you turn off your power lift gate on the overhead console. Turn that off so you can manually open and close this, because you're going to be opening and closing it quite a bit. Okay, now you want to push in the tabs. That harness right here, Now I pushed these tabs in already, so you can see right there, because you want this harness needs to come off with the rear panel. So that all comes off right here. Now the interesting thing is, if these burn out, you're gonna have to do this because these lights are integrated with the camera housing right there. So that's a major pain. Okay, now when you get this flipped over, you're gonna mimic and match where all these clips are. Now I already took some of these out earlier, so just these yellow ones are on the bottom, these gray clips, and then in your new kit they come with these little neoprene donuts. So you want to make sure you put all the donuts exactly where they were. So here's the new one, and you can see, you know, you're gonna have to put all the clips and the donuts, do that. And here's the new camera housing. It comes with separate lights and a new housing to fit that, which I have those parts in the description. And then you're gonna need a new harness here, right here. Now it comes with this little piece here. This is for the walk-up sensor, which on this you don't have, so it's just a dummy hole right there, a little dummy plug. So they give you the dummy wire, and you're not gonna hook that up to anything. And then the button for the glass, just take it from your old one and put it there. Then I did get this painted. It comes separate when you buy this panel, and we have to swap the bow tie from the other one. But I did get this panel at a local paint shop. It's about 400 bucks to get painted. Okay, I did get this off, but I'd recommend to just buy a new one of these because it's really hard to get it off. I kind of had to break it a little bit in there. It's just really not made to come off, but it's just these two tabs right in there. Thought it was these ones up here, but it's not. It's just these two on the side. Then I'll just clean this up real good and pops right back into there. Alright, it just snaps right into there. Now time to put the clips on this thing. Okay, and I lay them side by side. Like I said, I've already removed these clips. So I did get a picture of it, so I know where they go. But side by side, and go from each one. It comes with new ones, and then just match what you have on each side. Just go back and forth and match each one and put them where they need to go. Don't forget ones that get the little donuts. They do give you new ones, so just make sure you add that in there. I think it's for the waterproofing. So add those, make sure you put that in there. Okay, in the packaging it comes with this little strip in here, which I figured out. It goes in between here like this. So there's these little notches in there that these fit into. So that pushes in there. Now for whatever reason this is missing a little notch for that little piece, so it's gonna have to be, you're gonna have to trim a little notch out there so it fits flush like everything else here does. I don't know why it's missing one here. Okay, I had to cut out a little bit of material so that goes in where it needs to be, nice and flush, and then push all of that down. Make sure that's all down in there. Okay, so just make sure you got everything here, and all these little guides have the rubber donuts on them. The yellow ones are on the bottom. Make sure all of them, and even this one, almost forgot about that one, but make sure they have all the donuts on them in there. Now I'm gonna put together the wiring harness here for the lights and the camera. Okay, for the button, it's gonna be this gray and black. For the lights, it's this yellow and black for the lights here. So put that on. Okay, plug it in, and then it comes with new little clips that go into the little holes right here. Clipped into there, clips into there. That goes around, loops into here. Now the one thing, and then like I said, this is just the dummy wire that would go to there. I'm not going to put it on. The one thing I can't figure out is, it comes with the clip here, but I don't know where. There's really not a place for it in here at all. So I kind of just stuck it right up there, so it's out of my way. But there's really not a spot for it. So once it's off, I've cleaned this before, but I suggest just kind of giving this nice and clean. Cleaning this up real good before you put on the parts. Just get these little holes here where the neoprene gaskets are gonna go. That way you give a nice seal to them. Alright, I'm gonna try and put this piece on. I haven't, it's the first time doing this, so see how it goes. Put the wires through there. Snap that grommet piece in. Alright, make sure it's all snapped in. Okay, you want to make sure everything's lined up, which it looks like, and then I'm gonna pop the pins down. Let's see if everything snaps into place. There, it looks like everything's kind of snapping into place. Alright, take a look. Okay, so my my studs came through and lined up. My guide pins are all lined up. These are all lined up here. That's popped through. Now I'll put this back together. Okay, now we just gotta plug back in the lights here. The camera goes here. And like I said, this is just a dummy wire, so there is a little thing on here to kind of push it out the way. I think it probably goes in here somewhere. Just gonna put that right in. There's a little hole right there. That's all attached right there. So now put the nut back on all of these here. Okay, remember earlier I was showing you about these guide holes, so you can see right there. And these are the holes you want to use to get your screwdriver in there. Same with that one way in the back there. And if you look right here, see that? That's where you're gonna want to push, get your screw flathead and push those tabs in. So I marked them out here so you can see them right there. That's probably the hardest part. That's the hardest part, is those clips up in here to get those off. So let's take a look, see how we're looking so far. So there's how we're looking so far. Everything fits nice. Still got the rest of these little nuts to put on and torque everything down, and then I will do that, torque all that down, see how it looks. So I'm just hand tightening them. They are plastic, you know, tabs on there, so I don't know if you really want to get it super tight. You want it tight enough to kind of crush those little gasket down. So I'll just hand tighten them all, and then I'll go back over them with my ratchet and just give it a little bit, just a little bit tighter for that. But so far, everything's gone pretty smooth with that. Okay, got everything tightened down. You do need new side pieces here. The old ones will not work. I do have the part number. I do have all the part numbers, as this will now cover up a little bit there. So you are gonna need new side cover pieces right here. So these are pretty easy to go back on here. Oh, what the heck? Oh. That, thought for a minute they sold me the other side. Alright, well that wasn't too bad to do. Let's take a look at it now. Flip the camera. Now, when you do this conversion, see the tail lights, I don't know if we can pick this up, but see how the tail lights kind of bump out and the new back panel is more flat. Well, that's why I've got, on my next video, I'm going to do the conversion of the tail lights. So the tail lights are flat and they're much little bit less profile. So I'm going to do that next. It's kind of hard to see, but, and then see how this doesn't match up right here, that line. So the new tail light's going to match with this line. So I'm going to take those out. But if you just left it alone, probably no one would notice. But I'm going to do that in the next video here. Yeah, and if you are going to convert the tail lights, you do need to get a special harness made from Gen 5 DIY. It's about $200. Has these little resistors in the line for the LED conversion. So I'm going to be taking that apart and updating it next, but I do like it better than the 2022. Well, I put it all on, made a big mistake. I forgot to check to see if the new camera was compatible. Apparently it's not compatible. So I had to take apart, I'm gonna have to take apart the old camera and take apart the new camera, stick it in there, run this wire out of the harness, put it into this new harness, and had to take that all off again. Unbelievable. Okay, here's the new camera, 2025 camera that comes out. And I got the old one in. It does fit, luckily. These are 3 T10. And look at that. Looks just like how it was. So now I can reassemble this. Now you're going to have to put this wire back through the wiring harness and get that to go. So here is the 2025 harness we talked about before. Now this thing is just a dummy wire. Now I have to take that out in order to make room for this wire through here. So that's going to be a pain. All right, the 2025 update is done. Now see what I was saying about this panel, it's flat. So see how flush that is now? It matches there. So the gap's a lot better. Much cleaner, much cleaner.